let's get this started. Mills County Commissioners Court is in session. This regular meeting on Monday, November 8th at 9 in the morning on Central Standard Time. And present in the courtroom, besides the county judge, we have Commissioners Parkman, Wright, and Williams. And attending via Zoom is Commissioner Guerin. Also present in court are county clerk, county treasurer, and the county attorney. So with that, we have a quorum to do business. If everyone would stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams, would you lead us in prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, grant us this day that we may do the business of Mills County. Father, be with us this week as we honor the veterans of this country and for everything that they have given us throughout the years. Father, be with us as we do this meeting today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. This next item on the agenda is review of the minutes of our last meeting, which was October 25th. Has the court had the opportunity to review these minutes, and are there any comments or corrections?
I found no corrections, Judge, so I move that we approve of the minutes as written.
And we have a motion from Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes of October 25th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Parton. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is audience with individuals. We have Mr. Mark Toppert has signed up to speak, representing Mills County Constitutional Citizens. Mr. Toppert, if you would, we have a podium and a microphone here for you.
Right, we'll make it all work.
You have a time limit, and the county clerk will give you a signal when you're getting near the end of it.
Okay, well, I'll try not to go over time. Good morning, Judge Smith and commissioners. I'm here to speak on behalf of a group of concerned Mills County citizens. We're actually, we're frustrated. We're concerned with the continued increasing federal and state mandates and the overreach and the encroachments on our everyday lives. Specifically, we're asking that you as a court here in the future pass a resolution affirming Mills County as a constitutional county. And what I'm going to do is we have a resolution that after the meeting, I'll give to each of you so that you can take the time to read it and study it. And then if you need to ask questions, we'll have some people that will be glad to meet with you concerning that. And I'm just going to read the first two paragraphs, if you will, of this resolution. It states, whereas the members of Mills County Commissioners Court, being elected to represent the people of Mills County, are duly sworn by their oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Texas State Constitution and laws, including the Texas Civil Rights Law. And whereas the Mills County Commissioners Court is determined to stand as a constitutional county to protect the rights provided to its citizens under the U.S. Constitution and its amendments. Like I say, after court, we'll go ahead and give you a copy of that resolution and some other information. As a group, we've met twice, and we've been discussing just kind of the state of our country in general and how we're frustrated with seeing the overreaching mandates that keep coming down and the regulations. And really, it's at the county level is where we're going to best be able to fight this moving forward, because our state and federal elected officials aren't really doing it. And you may ask, well, why do I need to affirm Mills County or us as commissioners that I support and defend the Constitution when obviously when you took office, you made that affirmation. It's just like back in May of 1978, when I was sworn into the military as a second lieutenant. I did the same thing. And I was supported in the Constitution. Well, and just because I'm no longer in the military, that doesn't expire. And you're thinking, well, I mean, we just stood here every other week, you're saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay? Or when we were in school, most of us, we said the Pledge of Allegiance. So it's kind of a renewing commitment that we did, whether we're saying the Pledge of Allegiance or whether we were just going to make this resolution regarding our support of the Constitution. And just to kind of give you a couple of examples of, you know, the kind of mandates we're talking about. Of course, we've all been through the whole COVID chaos and catastrophe in some ways, if you will. And so we've had all these mandates come down, and a lot of my granted haven't affected us here in Texas, but they have, and specifically here in Mills County, but in some of the other larger cities within Texas, they have, whether it's Dallas or Austin. You know, there's been small businesses that have been closed down, or they've had to minimize the amount of people that they can have in their restaurant or business at certain times. You know, there's been churches that have been, you know, had to close down. There was a hairdresser in Dallas who was arrested by the judge because she was continuing to try to make payroll. So we've had those kind of mandates. You know, we've had the White House come out and say, well, everyone has to get a shot. Whether you agree with the shot or not, he's saying you have to take the shot that's an unproven, untested shot, and that it one of the side effects is that's listed as death. Okay. So, but he's mandating this for businesses. First it was over 100 employees, and now it's all businesses. What are you going to do if it's the county that he says, okay, all county employees have to have this shot? But they're making a mandate like that, but then the White House is exempt and their employees are exempt. Congress is exempt and their employees are exempt. Pfizer is exempt and their employees. Moderna is exempt and their employers. Johnson & Johnson, the World Health Organization. So they're making this mandate that says we have to comply, but yet no one else does. So that's why we're going to present you with this resolution and urge you to do it. And it's just a means of pushing back against what's coming down the road. And we're not the only county that has done this. In fact, Brown County, if you saw in their paper just last October 6th, they passed a resolution declaring themselves a constitutional county. There's, I think, 2 in Nevada. There's also a county in California that's declared themselves as a constitutional republic. And then there is, in the state of Texas, there's 75 counties that have declared themselves as Second Amendment sanctuary county. So it's not something that's totally fringed out there on the edge. Again, we'll be glad to give you some more information and meet with you for you to consider in the future. Also, we're having a meeting this evening at 6 o'clock, and any of you are welcome to attend. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, this being our first meeting of the month, we have the consent agenda consisting of the reports from all the county departments and operations and related areas. So first item in the agenda is the monthly county treasurer's report. Anybody has any questions about that? I'm sure Ms. Campbell would be glad to address them. There was then the accounts payable report, which was distributed electronically Friday with one subsequent revision. Anybody have any questions or comments on the accounts payable?
I do not.
The county, we have reports from the county and district clerk's office, list of fees collected at the county clerk level. It's 10,919, and wherein the district clerk had, it's 8,003. That detail is in there. Most of the local fees are recording fees, and most of the biggest component of the district court side are fines.
Judge,
Yes, I
No,
did.
it's on the left.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah, I did. I overlooked it. We got the Mills Appraisal District report is in your package for the month of October. This is their collections. October is the first month of the fiscal year.
So it's gonna be really low.
Yeah, and the tax notices, I believe, were mailed either late, sometime in September, maybe early October, but you can see we've collected, just under 8% of the, annual tax assessment for 2022, which is collecting the 2021 taxes. And that was a total of $293,000 rounded, for the month. You can, if you look down the uncollected column, you can see at this point, going into the new year, we still have 12,800 from last year that are unpaid. But the bigger number is the prior year, which is 311,000. And that is the continuing appeal of the Encore assessment. So it's not a question of ability to pay, but a question of letting the legal appeal play out. We have a report from the county tax assessor showing basically vehicle registration activity, collecting $115,000 of fees in total in the office, of which 24,000 rounded are retained by the county. The county extension officer report reflecting 130 miles of service-related travel, number of contacts and calls on the second page, and the activity for November scheduled also on the second page, which is a series of new landowner seminars, which are done on the internet. I've listened to a few of them. They're very interesting. And then the upcoming work on the Fort Worth Stock Show and swine valuation. The sheriff's report for the month of October is the next item in the package, reflecting 304 calls for the month. EMS representing 48 of those, the balance fire calls 39, and the rest various types of law enforcement. See total arrest by the sheriff's office of 7 people, new cases, new jail bookings of 22. So that's both sheriff activity and DPS. Civil service, that's a pretty good volume of 66. And then the out of county prisoner housing, which was billed at 26,200 for the month. And you can see that Coryell County represents a little over 20,000 of that, with Hamilton and Bell County both contributing to it. The monthly report from the JP's office is in there. This is a multi-page report. On the first page, you can see the line 2, new cases filed for the month. Traffic was 53 and other total of 9. You can see down on line 10, dispositions, 42 traffic items disposed and 2 other items. And then remaining active cases at the end of the month of 868 in the traffic category, and about, I'll do the math, 140 some odd in the other law category. See civil claims on the next page with 3 new cases filed on debt claims. And on the last page, the magistration volume of jail bookings, you can see 11 if you total all the misdemeanor and felony cases, of which 4 of the felony cases have requested counsel to be paid for by the county. And then down on line 15, those are inquests, that what we call death calls. There are 4 of them for the month. The very bottom, see the revenue lines, total revenue in the department of $11,299, with 6,966 retained by the county. And the judge's office receipts for the month of October, you can see there's about $95 of book sales. Senior center activity picked up 12 times it was used. No revenue. That indicates it was all church and nonprofit and community organizations. And then on the septic activity, you can see 4 permits issued, which is where we've been running the last 3 months. And the septic income for the year is $8,600 for the calendar year, which, we got 2 months left in the calendar year. We'll probably exceed last year's septic volume. And then the key thing is, if you look back to the 2019, we've more than doubled the septic volume. And that's just an interesting proxy for growth in the parts of the county outside of the Gulf White sewer system. And then we have a report from the Hamilton Emergency Medical Services. Let's see, the first page is calls within the city limits of Gulf White, and average response time of 4 minutes and 21 seconds, and 95% of the responses falling within the average response time target, minimum target. And on the second page, you see the basically the rural calls with an average response time of 10 minutes, but a lot of variability based on location, and 83% of the responses falling within the average target in the contract of 20 minutes. But you can see there's at least 4 that fell outside of that. Then we have the last item on the consent agenda is the Veteran Service Officer report. There's a detailed report here from Craig Wright showing work for 10 different veterans, a total of 63 hours spent on it. So it's the consent agenda. Are there any items people the court would like to pull out and discuss in more detail? Or otherwise, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
I'm going to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Wright, second from Commissioner Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, action items. Number 4, canvass of votes in the November 2nd special election. Let me turn it over to our county clerk. Ms. Scott.
Well, it was a very low turnout. This would be, it just has to, by law, has to go through Commissioner's Court for approval before I can turn it into the Secretary of State. Friday was the first day we could do that. We were able to get everything done in time to get this in your packet a little late on Friday, but we didn't have it. And again, very abysmal turnout. 15% of our registered voters showed up to vote.
15%.
Just over 15.28. But constitutional amendment elections normally turn up a lower.
And that's overall for the county. If you Pretty, where they had a bond election, the precincts there had a 37.5% turnout. So a little heavier turnout for the bond election.
I make a motion, we approve canvass for votes for November the 2nd, 2021 special election, that we accept those as presented.
I'll second that motion. So we have a motion and a second to approve on the canvass of the votes of the November 2nd election as presented by the county clerk. Is any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Well done. Consider an act on line item budget amendment. Let me find that. Yeah. I've got it. This is has to do with the county fire marshal. And we had a budgeted annual fee for last year and for this year. He did not pick up his fee last year, but came in to pick it up after the first of the year. So that means we've got basically two fees coming in this year. And we had expected a lower volume anyway, which turns out to be not the case. So this is a budget amendment to cover his last year's fee and to increase the volume, the last year's fee plus additional on this year's fee and increase in the revenue budget to match what is now coming in this year. The backstory on this is the fire marshal a year ago had anticipated no longer doing inspections on the two nursing homes. And that has in fact turned out to be the case. But we did not anticipate those nursing homes being replaced. And instead, there have been a number of foster homes that have come in for a fire marshal inspection, and it has replaced it. So we're going back to last year, closer to last year's revenue and closer to last year's fire marshal fee. And where we're getting it from is coming out of the county judge's salary. We are now 1 month into the year and I haven't quit or died, so we don't need it for the month of October. So there's the $1,500 there that will cover this issue in the fire marshal's budget. So I move approval of the special budget amendments as I submitted it.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Wright. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Consider an act on the burn ban. We have a burn ban in Mills County we put on about 3 months ago. It expires, the burn bans expire after 90 days unless there's some other period is specified. The 90 days is November 14th. So it is before our next meeting. So it's here for consideration. We have been fairly wet over the last couple of, I'd say, month. And my recommendation would be to either let it lapse or just take it off right now. I talked to the David Schwartz last week when we were considering a temporary lift while it was going into the rain, and he was not in favor of a temporary lift at that time because of reports in the morning that there'd been less than 2 inches of rain in the county. Subsequently, for the full day, it turned out it probably varies depending on where you were. I got 7/10. I've talked to people out toward Pretty that got 1.5 inches. To me, the two key, there's 3 key factors you need to consider. One is moisture. One is, obviously rain. One's humidity, and one's wind speeds. If you saw the picture of the high-speed chase, the end result of it, of a car that crashed in a pasture and there was car fire, and see it didn't spread very far. What we're having is, close to 100% humidity every morning. And I'll tell you from burn association meetings that you can't get grass fires to spread much on their own if you got humidity over 55%. So that's where we are. It's going to go away on its own. There's a thing called the Keep Byram Drought Index, and Mills County is average is 451 on this index that runs up to 800, and that's an average because depending on where you are in the county, it ranges from 347 to 566. I believe there's a statutory requirement that you can't you need an index of, Commissioner Williams, do you recall, was it 5 1/4?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
525 to impose a burn ban. So we're under that. I've got a map here if any of the commissioners would like to look at it.
Also, the Forest Service has us at a very low fire danger.
Yeah,
We're in the green. So. And the Forest Service is not recommending that. It's up to the county overall.
Right.
And we're into the lowest fire rating it can be. So I would say we don't extend the burn ban.
but that means take no action as opposed to terminate it at this point.
And that'll get you 1 week further from the start of their season.
Yeah. Commissioner Wright, do you have a thought on this?
I've had several calls about it, asking for the wind and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. The only thing we got in our precinct is that one subdivision wanting to burn. I'm sure stuff that they've filed up, but there's also those 3 fields have been cleared grass. And I don't mind telling him not to be burning down there in those fields. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, we're by the 14th, we'll be 2 weeks in their season. It'll either rain or stay dry. Well, or they'll get their first 2 weekends of deer hunting out of their system, maybe. That's my opinion. Just let it play itself out and see what happens.
I think the conditions would justify lifting it now, but
I go either way. So it's,
Yeah, I don't have a problem lifting it. I mean, I think we'll do all right.
yeah, I mean, I've looked at the wind forecast and it looks like we have the humidity and moderate winds for the next, for 5 or 6 days out. Past that, the forecasts are kind of speculative. So I'd rather try and let people take advantage of it now, although I recognize the deer season risk, but we're here on a Monday. If there's a problem, we can act on it.
Yeah, where the car burned the other day was not a very big spot. And that was a pretty grassy area.
And had gasoline. Yeah.
I make a motion that we lift the burn ban.
So
Okay, we have a motion to lift. A second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I will get that on the out to the Eagle and on the website later this morning. Discuss county level redistricting. Let me find it. I skipped something.
Yeah, you did.
Christmas lights.
Number 5. Yes, sir.
Okay. Possible action on hail damage repair. Yeah. The insurance company's processing the hail damage in 2 components. One is the roofs and the other is everything else. On the roof side, there's been agreement with the consultant and the insurance company that on the main courthouse, the replacement will be the copper flashing and related caulking, and but not the roof membrane. On the old jail, the replacement will be the shingles and the caulking. So that part is agreed to. We're waiting on contracts, which will be coming in. We voted a meeting or so ago to join TIPS, a cooperative purchasing agreement, which was where the engineer was getting his pricing so that we can have the same contractor pricing that the engineer and the insurance company agreed to. We don't have those contracts yet, but that's the status of that. They have already replaced the glass in the broken windows here in the courthouse. They missed the jail. We have a contract that came in Friday that is still under review by the insurance company to replace the broken glass in the jail and recaulk and repaint the damaged windows on the north and west side of the courthouse and the jail. So that is in the works. The one that concerns me is that, and it's over timing, is the Christmas light issue. We have received proposals from 3 different lighting companies. They all are apples and oranges. Some of them, we take down the lights. Some of them, they take them down, they put them up. One of them, they put them up, they take them down, they fix them, they put them back up, and then they take them down again for us at the end of the season. The prices, once you adjust for apples and apples, all comes out to be about the same. However, in the neighborhood of, I'd tell you, $17,000 to $20,000. The key is the insurance company has agreed verbally, as has the consultants, that all of this is hail damage, that it all needs to be replaced because it all needs to match. So we will get reimbursed for it. The complicating part is the lift rental to get a lift truck here on site to take them down and then put them back up. Since the insurance company has agreed to pay for it, my inclination is to go with the proposal that had the lighting company doing the labor to take them down and rehang them. That avoids, in the past, it's been done with overtime, road hands, and when available, trustees. This is an insurance claim. There's no point in the county absorbing that. Let's get it done as quick as we can. And so my proposal would be to go ahead and execute a contract with a work order, actually, with a company called Christmas Decor, who is out of Waco and does the Christmas lights for Hamilton County Courthouse, to take them down, redo them, and put them back up.
And then they also take them down.
And they take them down again after the season. So I don't, there's just not time to figure everything out now, but sometime between now and January, we need to figure out what we're going to do with them when we take them. If we don't take them down, we're going to be dealing with this over and over again. In the recommendation keeps coming up, get a storage container, put it somewhere like in the back of precinct 1 yard, put all the lights in there when we take them down. Each season, we get them out of there and put them back up. But I don't have the numbers. That's not on the table right now. It's just to accept a proposal from, let's see, Christmas Decor to remove, repair, and reinstall the lights in the courthouse and the old jail. And let's see if I can do the math. They have bid it, including a lift, $23,668. That includes $6,000 for the lift rental. Separately, the insurance company that's for 3 days of lift rental. The insurance company has proposed to pay for 3 weeks of lift rental for other repair work. So I think we could take that out. But the main thing is we got to get this thing started, because even starting it now, it's not going to be done by the day after Thanksgiving. We're talking a December 1st type date.
And insurance is gonna cover this, right?
That's what I'm told. I don't have that in writing, but I'll tell you, if we wait, yeah, I've got a call with them again tomorrow, Wednesday. But if we wait till we get this in writing from the insurance company, we're gonna have this for Easter. So we have a verbal commitment. We've been told by 2 parties, the adjuster and the consultant, that it's 100% covered. They have this proposal. We have this call Wednesday. We've got, if we want to have Christmas lights on the windows of the courthouse, we need to get moving on it. The alternative is to wait till all the pieces are in place. I think for probably, less than about $6,000, we can do it ourselves and put a string of lights around the roof on the jail and the courthouse. But that would be as far as we could go.
Christmas before total cost of $17,258. That's correct. What did you say?
Well, here's the bid. I've tried, I didn't get my calculator out. I backed out the $6,000 for the lift rental. And yeah, I think that 17,258 on the spreadsheet is where it's going to end up, because
That's what I had.
we are going to have that boom rental from another source.
Yeah, because they're gonna need it for the windows
Yes,
and the copper flash.
yes,
Old jail.
yeah.
But they're also gonna have to be doing it simultaneously, right?
Well, if they're going to pay for it for 3 or 4 weeks, it doesn't have to be done simultaneously. I mean, the Christmas lights can come down, then the guys can be working on the windows. And we've got the bid on that. It came in Friday. It's being reviewed by the insurance company now, so they could be starting working on the windows. And by the time they're through working on the windows, hopefully December 1st will be within the 3-week time period, and we'll get them rehung.
So what kind of motion do we just want a motion or action
Well, let me.
on the Christmas lights at this time?
Yeah, I think that's, I hate to make my own motions, but just for clarity, what I would move approval for the county judge to enter into to accept a proposal from Christmas Decor to remove, repair, and replace the Christmas lights on the courthouse in 1885 jail. No, 1888 jail.
I say,
Is there a price in that, old judge? Are we gonna leave a price open or?
Well, I mean,
Just here?
we could say not to exceed, it's got 17,258. Let's call it 18,000.
Sure, I think something like that.
Okay, so let me amend the motion then to authorize the judge to enter into it's just called accept a proposal from Christmas Decor to remove, repair, and replace the Christmas lights on the courthouse and the 1888 jail for a price not to exceed $18,000.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, redistricting. There is a memo in your package from the Secretary of State explaining the process. It's 5 or 6 pages and it takes reading multiple times. It's unclear whether we're going to need to redistrict in Mills County. Here's what we do know. We know that the census count for Mills County from the 2020 census, we have that hard number, and it's approximately 400 people fewer than 2010. So we have fewer people officially in Mills, residing in Mills County. I don't have the census data in enough detail yet, but just looking at the voter registration data, which is a little more readily available, of our 3,194 registered non-suspended voters, it looks like we have a little bit heavy in precinct 1, Commissioner Precinct 1, and lightest in Commissioner Precinct 4. Go back to the Secretary of State memo. There's tolerances between the different precincts, both in terms of absolute numbers, and I think the absolute number is 50 and a %, but that's based on population. And so I'm talking about registered voters, so it's a proxy, but it's not 100%. It doesn't mean this is the final number. It just might be indicative that if we have an adjustment, that's where it's going to be. The redistricting works off, the lowest data point is something called a precinct block data, which is a very small component. It's 2 or 3 like city blocks and how many people live there. It's publicly available. The county did not sign up with a law firm back 3 or 4 or 5 years ago to do the redistricting analysis. There was a proposal from a firm, and I forget the exact number, but it was 20,000 plus. We had done it, I'm told, in 2010 and determined it wasn't worth the money, that it was a very small adjustment. So I found the census data. It's available free on the internet, but it's for the whole state. And it's an access database, which is a little bit past my pay grade, but I got it downloaded with help from Dudley Jordan Friday for the whole state. Now we've got to peel it back to Mills County and precincts 1 through 4 and see what it means. But if we have to make an adjustment, it's likely moving a line, a block or 2 within the city of Cold Lake. But at this point, I'm looking for some IT help to get to that point to be able to tell you where we are. But that's a high level on where we are on redistricting. And we may or may not need to do anything, but there's some indication based on lower population and the voter registration rolls that we might.
Any good undertaking, Judge, that you on this deal, because that was a major topic at the meeting I attended Wednesday. And Jim Allison made that presentation, and his comment was that if you didn't have somebody to do it for you, it's going to be awful tough.
That's what I'm finding out, and it's a handful.
Back in 2010, they'd already signed up with a firm before I come on.
Right.
And so Jed and I recall some because they signed it on before Jed went off the time before. But all they ended up moving was Hudson Street. And because where y'all, if y'all remember where Benny Graves' house was, that used to be in precinct 4, and they took it out of precinct 4 and put it in precinct 1. And then I think, and then John Mann come down a street or something over here on the hill. But we did all the changes inside the city limits of Gulfway. I was really scared that if this come up and it was precinct 3, they don't come in the city limits of Gulfway. So then that would be the harder part to shuffle. But that's all they did last time was move 2 streets, or half a streets is all they were. And then I don't remember what they ended up doing and all that other stuff.
Boundary line for precinct 1 and 2 used to be the railroad tracks. My understanding now it's Main Street. Which I don't do that, so. And I'd say that's it. Yeah, it's a pretty detailed
Yeah.
problem. Once you get into
Well,
making sure everybody represented in those precincts.
So I talked to,
any county employees that are good on access, I would love to be talking.
I don't
to
even
them.
know what access is, so access.
It's a relational database.
It's a what?
It's a database.
Okay. I did also visit with our voter registrar upstairs, and so her deadline, since it's a new year, to get out new voters card is like the 15th of January.
Oh, okay.
Supposed to get it out before the end of it's like the 15th of December. But since it's a redistricting year, she has a month extended. So that helps us out, but yet she doesn't want us to give it to her on the day of January the 15th, and they gotta be out January the 15th, so. we gotta
Maybe
consider
she'll
that.
come help me figure this out.
How about filing fees for the people running for these offices? That's changing too. No changes in that.
I'm not aware of that.
No, I'm not.
Did that come up at your training?
I don't think they're this year, they may be next year. I don't know, I haven't heard anything about it.
I was thinking that instead of this year and filing dates would be a little different. They didn't know for sure.
Well, if I can understand, there is something that's going on, and I think it was in an update that there was a Senate bill that passed that didn't get 2/3 of the vote, and so
That's
that's the one that you're,
That's it.
but it didn't, I don't recall there being something mentioned about the filing fee change.
So since it didn't get 2/3 voted, it goes into effect on a delayed basis.
On a delayed basis, and so is it December 1st? Or there is a,
Who knows?
they
That's the
phrased
problem.
it as an unprecedented
Yes, that's the problem.
event.
But if you go ahead and file now, for those that are filing the rerun, they'll fall under the old one, unless they file after that date.
I can
If
look
it's a
into it,
change.
that's not.
You see what I'm saying? Because they can't go back and get them.
Somehow I interpreted the. It's not going to.
I don't know, that's the first time.
Well, expect this on every agenda from now
That's what
until,
I'm saying. You've got a
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
You may have to do a call meeting or two. I
and
can tell you that.
we will do that.
So no action on this is right now, just discussion.
Yeah, it's just a discussion. Commissioners request and reports. Commissioner Wright, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back, Joe. We've been on County Road 410. We've had to haul 7 loads of material, and we worked it in. County Road 505, 510, and 500. 505, we've hauled 20 loads, 13 on 10 and 2 on 500. Bladed in water. Brush cutter, we got the motor repaired on it, wiring to the AC, and also the gas panel that we fixed, and we've got it returned to precinct 2. I did attend a workshop on Wednesday the 3rd for the continuing education. I have one more since I didn't get to make my meeting 1st of October. I'll be going to Angela to finish my continuing education. And that's all I have.
Commissioner Gearon,
Yes, sir. Sorry I couldn't be there today, guys. I just can't get enough air to get there. I've been I checked all my roads Thursday and Friday this last week, as we're supposed to every month. My crew's still working in the field, grading when the moisture allows, we're putting hydraulic end on a 3C track loader today. As long as I'm in the pickup where I can move around, not have to walk, I do pretty good. So I'm hanging in there and the guys are doing a good job. I've done some research. I found a tractor for us that might work. I haven't had time to go look at it and test drive it, but it's way below what we were considering spending on our 100,000. And I've got a line on 2 belly dump trailers. It will tie in with it. So as soon as I get a little more information on them, I'll pass the word along. That's all I've got, Judge.
Thank you. Commissioner Parton?
Finally got the maintainer back together. For the first time in 6 months, it has all gears, so we hope we can keep it with all gears. Blade roads did get some moisture, a little bit wet out of pretty, but we're gonna try to blade them anyway. That's all I got.
Commissioner Williams?
Hauled quite a bit of material with the belly dump onto County Road 432 and bladed it out. Also hauled out to 540 and bladed some of those roads out. Working on a right of way on 550 and 549 in conjunction with Dale did some on this same property owner on 549 earlier, but co-op is putting fiber optic down there. So we're all kind of working together down there, trying to get all that done. And then just to let everybody know, the co-op is going to put fiber down County Road 530. So they're going to be doing some work on County Road 530 here pretty quick. And I had a information request from the sheriff's office, and I got that turned in as of last Friday. So that's it on my end.
This isn't another one, is it?
No.
Okay.
Previous one.
Okay, judge's report is primarily on update on the subdivision advisory committee. Bobby Roundtree found a city planner that for a very small, reasonable fee, took their work product from this our advisory committee and has organized it, made used common terminology, got rid of duplication, put it in logical chapters, built a table of contents and some checklists, and all that came back Friday. The committee will be meeting Tuesday of this week to go over that. Anticipate there'll be a last round of changes from that committee. And then the plan was to submit it to the county attorney after that for review. And then it would come to the court for review. And then after the court's had time to review it, we will make the mandatory advertisement to hold a public hearing on it. So that's where that stands. It's going to be, unless we dual track the court consideration and the newspaper notice, which we might, it'll probably be a December type issue. But the committee has worked diligently, and Mr. Roundtree is reasonably confident of having a consensus recommendation from the group, which is going to be encouraging, and has offered to be available both for the presentation to the court and to the public hearings. So that's all I've got. Thursday is a holiday. Friday isn't, Wednesday isn't, but Thursday is a federal holiday that we have observed. Anything else?
We were looking for the marker here on the grounds for
Yeah.
the courthouse. Buster Taylor, I ran into him. He told me he probably had it in my place on one of those trees that he got there and replanted it. So that's where you mark.
On your place?
Yes.
When you feel like getting out there, take a look.
Making a
for it.
joke.
Yeah.
He said that he's one that probably removed it, not realizing it.
Yeah. Of course, that will move every property line in Mills County about a mile and a half. Yeah. Okay. being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion. I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Dale.